Hello, YouTube. Good afternoon. I think I am live. Yes, I am. Happy Saturday, everybody. Give me a second here to set up. Give me a second, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. Okay, so today I have a very specific, well, I always have specific topics, but one second here. I had to put a banner on this live before I start, because this is like a very specific live for me. Give me a bit. Well, nobody's in here yet, so. All right. All set up. All set up. Today, I'm very serious about coming on here, and so I had to prepare everything before I came on here. I do not want any distractions. I do not want any reasons why this is not happening today. So I have these cards. Where are they? I have these botanical cards that have quotes. I don't know why I bought them initially, and then now that I have bought them, now that I do have them, I actually really like these cards. Anyway, these cards, I kind of pulled them before, and they give me sort of like some sort of direction, or some sort of like, I don't know. They give me something towards whatever it is that I'm going to be talking about. So I pulled them, 3 fell out. So I'm going to read all 3. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Because I just want to pull out this diagram. I put this diagram as the picture of this live. And this is something really important that I want to talk about. So the first card says, and this is a card that I've pulled before, it says, no mud, no lotus, which basically means like no hard work, no progress. You don't get yourself dirty, you can't blossom. And during this process of gang stalking, I have been very resentful, let me tell you, about experiencing the forces of evil in my life. Because experiencing demonic activity makes you feel dirty. I'm gonna come back to this. The second card that I pulled says, 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. That seems very relevant to what I'm gonna be talking about today. And then the third card says choices, knowledge, and illumination. Choices, knowledge, and illumination. White are the flowers of the apple tree that brings us fruits of fertility. And I used to pull this card and I was like, what the hell does this mean? And now I take this to mean that if the things that you're investing in, the things that you're participating in, if they're dirty, if it's not white, if it's not pure, then you're not going to get growth. What you're doing is infertile. It's not going to produce. So that's how I take this to mean. So you make choices, you have knowledge, and illumination means things are going to come to light anyway. And I always knew me pulling this card would mean something. But before I start with what I'm going to talk about today, let me talk about no mud, no lotus, and how I personally felt about this. So listen, we know, those of us that are here fighting this battle, we know that we are dealing with demonic activity. And you know, because of the kind of stuff that's going on now. I don't know how deep particular people are into what it's like spiritually into what's going on. But I'll tell you this much. This is a kind of energy that you cannot and you don't want to tap into. They can tap into your energy, but you do not want to tap into their energy. And I can speak for myself. Because if you accidentally tap into this energy, you're going to realize there's going to be energies of, when I talk about sex demons on here, I'm not talking about having the desire for sex as if you should be like something that's not human, or you should be like something that doesn't desire sex. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bestiality, wanting to sleep with animals. I'm talking about pedophilia. I'm talking about emotions that a normal, healthy, functioning human being should not have. So if you tap into this energy, if you have the ability to do that, you'll see and note energies that are into sleeping with animals, that desire animals sexually, that are turned on by children. Like just complete and utter sexual deviance. And so this is just the beginning of how these energies operate. Like this is just the beginning. So when you deal with these sort of energies, you don't want to tap into anything they have going on. And as far as this card, no mud, no lotus means to me, I take it as my resentment, my constant resentment throughout this process of having to tap into this energy and deal with this energy and recognize that this energy is real. That these people that participate in this, you keep wondering in the beginning, are these human beings? Are these real people? How comes I don't feel any humanity when I deal with them? How comes I don't see any empathy? How comes I don't see anything that I can recognize? And it's because you're dealing with demons. You're dealing with people who have been taken over. And so when you deal with these people, you don't sense anything that's too human. You sense like you don't want to know what you feel like you have been forever tainted by having experienced them. And that's what I take the no mud, no lotus card to mean. In my spiritual awakening and my spiritual ascension, I have had to experience demonic activity at some of the highest levels in order for me to blossom spiritually. And that has been very difficult for me to come to terms with accepting at certain points during this. But I also realize why God sometimes chooses some of us that God chooses that have so much light. Because if you even start at a regular level where most human beings are at, just like a regular level of light, if you start there, this will suck you down and pull you down so low. You have to be an extra vibrant, light-carrying, spiritual, pure-hearted human being to not drown in this darkness, because it's like this is made to suck you in and swallow you whole. So this is what I take the no mud, no lotus card to mean. I pulled these 3 cards. I think they're appropriate. I'm going to go through the message that I have, and I think that whoever's listening will agree with me as well. First of all, I don't even know where to start, because this is a purely spiritual life. But this is stuff that is super important to talk about. So let me start with the diagram, because that's what is up. You know what? No, I'll finish with that. I'll finish with the diagram. Let me start somewhere else. So first of all, no mud, no lotus. You're living your life. You're minding your business. You find yourself in a situation that you have no logical reason, no logical reason to be a part of. There is no possible way that you are a part of this thing. This thing came to find you. I mean, it had to go out of its way to hunt you down. You're not even a person who's easy to find. Speaking for myself, I'm not a person who's easy to find, to get in contact with. I'm not a person you bump into. You don't bump into me in a club. You don't bump into me in a library, at a restaurant. You don't bump into me anywhere. You have to specifically target me and come get me. So you find yourself in this situation. It had nothing to do with you originally. You have no idea how you're here. You get here, and you now find yourself in the middle of spiritual warfare. People are energetically fighting you, and this fight seems to never end. It's constantly going on, and it goes on so long that you get to the point where you stop asking God, like, God, when is it gonna stop? It is a constant battle. You stop asking God when, and you just simply say, well, if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna have to learn how to be here. So you learn how to spiritually defend yourself, spiritually fight, spiritually stand your ground. You learn things like cleansing, which, by the way, I have cleansing videos on this channel, spiritual cleansing, because y'all don't cleanse. You get sick, you go to the doctor, you look for medication. But when you get spiritually sick, you stay sick until you're getting to a point where you're like dragging on the floor. When you become spiritually sick, you must clean. Okay, my people? You must go clean. Go clean. When they attack you in the spirit and you're gaining weight, it is lovely to go work out. It is lovely to eat healthy, but none of it means anything if you haven't spiritually cleansed. You're fighting an uphill battle. You can do it that way as well, but it's difficult, and they'll keep compounding it. You're not eating enough to gain this weight, and you're definitely working out round the clock and monitoring your eating, but you need to spiritually cleanse. When you spiritually cleanse, it seems like you lost weight in like 5 days. When you spiritually cleanse, when people look at you, they will look at you and they will say, you're not fat anymore. What happened? Because overnight, weight is shedding. It's not weight. It's malédiction. Spiritual sickness, bad luck. Spiritually cleanse. So I have videos on my page. I talk about basic forms of spiritual cleansing. It is for free for everyone. People sell this information. This is for free. Why? Because I'm of the personal belief that spirituality is not for sale, that spirituality is a personal journey. It does not need to be institutionalized. because that is how they monetize it, and they make you pay for a connection to God that is your birthright. You can go on your own in the spirit for everything you need, every question answered, every door to open, every solution is yours to get for yourself. You do not need anybody else. People like me are a flashlight to say, go that way, go this way. And people like me, if we get corrupted, we point you downwards and not up. We point you in the wrong direction. We say things to you that are very stupid because you get so dependent on us and you worship your spiritual teachers and your spiritual leaders. You put them on a pedestal and their ego begins to inflate and they think that they're above you. They start believing that they are the only path to God. These are people who don't know you, who don't care about you, but they start thinking to themselves, well, wait a minute. If people respect me so much, I can make $1 off of this. Why would somebody who God gave a gift sell you how to clean yourself? Why would somebody, this is so basic, why would somebody who God gave the gift of foresight want to sell these things? Now, I'm not saying you can't charge for your time. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is the spirituality is for everyone and it is not for sale. So I give freely basic tools because people will block your connection to God. They will block your third eye and your crown. You must clean constantly. If you are a person who believes in taking daily showers, because not everybody does. If you are a person who believes in taking daily showers, brushing your teeth twice a day, washing your hair, taking care of yourself, then you must do the same thing spiritually. Because if you clean yourself and take care of your body, the likelihood of infections and diseases is dramatically decreased. It's the same for the spirit. So I just encourage you to take care of the body in the same way that you take care of the mind, in the same way that you take care of your finances, that you must groom this part of your life very frequently so that things don't build up on you. Also, to make it extremely easy to diagnose when somebody is tampering with you in the spirit. This is for free. Take it and share it with others freely. We must start learning to give freely. Everything is not for sale. Knowledge like this is not for sale. So this is one. I have how-to videos. I put it all in a playlist. How to cleanse, how to take a spiritual bath, how to build an altar. So as I talk about certain things, you don't have to wonder, well, how comes I'm not elaborating? There's a playlist that I'm going to have all these basic information in there in a 20-minute, very short video, 15, 20 minutes. You can watch it very quickly. You gain the knowledge and implement it in your life if you so choose. If you don't believe it, it doesn't work for you, it is in opposition to what you believe in, it is not your time, so you can leave it and take from the channel what you want and leave the rest. So let's continue. You get into the spirit realm and all they do is fight. This is all they do is fight. It is a perpetual fight that is never ending because there are energies that are in opposition to what the universe wants to do, whether in your life or in general or for humanity at large. They take every conceivable action that they can to stand in the way of progress. It is non-stop. And so you're going through a spiritual battle, you're coming online, and they're battling you to come online. People like myself who give people spiritual information that is going to block the attacks of the enemy are battled night and day. And so when you come online, one of the first things that God wants to do is to make sure that you know how to fight spiritually, how to fight in the spirit, how to protect yourself in the spirit, but not in just any way. You have to learn how to fight free of karma while keeping your hands clean. People are going to say, well, how comes this person is defending themselves? They're fighting all the attacks I place on them, but their life continues to improve. And they're not facing any of the karma that I face. People who fight like this, dark, with dirty hands, they think you fight like them, so they'll accuse you of black magic. But you don't go and buy black candles and put people on the altar and force the hands of fate to destroy people's lives. You don't do stuff like that. You give issues to God. You give issues to your spirit team, and your spirit team decides how to handle it. It doesn't matter what you say to your spirit team, they're not going to do something that they think is not in your best interest. And so then people wonder sometimes, well, how comes I prayed about this issue and it's not being resolved? It's because your spirit team is handling it the right way at the right time. And you don't get to decide when is the right way, when is the right time, and if it gets handled in your way, because you don't have all the information. You don't know the past, you don't know the future. So you put it in God's hands, and you have to wait for God to figure this out for you. This is why my page is called God's Way. Because if you go in the flesh and deal with things your way, you're going to mess things up. Why? Because things that are happening in your life right now, it's not just to persecute you. It's not just to teach your enemies a lesson. It's to teach you a lesson. It's to guide you along your path. It's to grow you, and it's in your best interest. So this is why it must be left to your spiritual team to guide you along. Nobody comes to this life on their own. Nobody just lands here on their own. You land here in the care, in the hands of others. Some people come here, they live lives. Let me tell you something. The more you see people live here with no friends and no family and no one around them, the more protected they are in the spirit. Nothing is by accident. And be very wary of people who are loners, especially when they like it, when they don't want to be. That is a heavy spiritual presence in their life that makes them not lonely. That's constantly around them. That's making them feel that there's a constant presence. People like that always laugh. People like that always find something funny. People like that are at peace. Do you know how much deep spiritual peace it takes to be by yourself? It means you can face yourself. It means you are at peace with the mind. It means you're probably, well, not always. There are some people who are forced into isolation, but truly, when you are at peace with yourself, you can sit home alone and your thoughts are not fighting you. Your thoughts are not saying, your thoughts will attack you. Let me tell you how your mind works. Your mind loves getting you in a little corner, a little place of silence. That's why meditation is so hard for most people. Your mind wants to back you up in a little corner and say, hey, do you remember you got raped? Hey, do you remember you stole from that person? Hey, do you remember that person spit on you? After you loved them, they spit on you and they walked away and they turned their back. Let's talk about that right now. And you're like, whoa. You waited till I cooked the food, plated it, put on my favorite show, and now you're attacking me. What did I do? I just want to watch my show and eat my food. When you're not at peace with yourself, you're going to be punching the air every day because Your consciousness likes to wait for appropriate moments to handle things. It likes to wait for when you're relaxed, when you're at peace, and then it says to you, I want to talk about that thing that's been bothering you, that you've been avoiding, the really bad things that you refuse to heal from. This is a good moment. Why? Because you're most at peace in this moment. If I tried to come at you when you were playing volleyball, when you're at the supermarket, you're too easily distracted. I gotta come now that you're quiet. The most quiet moment you have is your meditation moment. So that's when your spirit comes at you when you're quiet and it says, hey, that thing you didn't heal from, I kind of really want to talk about it right now. And I'm not asking, we're going to talk about it right now. And here you are, in no bloody mood to deal with this. And here comes your spirit with this stuff now. So people who you notice for years are voluntarily and happily in isolation are people who are very happy with themselves. They're calm, they're at peace. They've healed a lot of stuff. They've come to terms with it. They've said, this is just the way the world works and there's nothing that I can do about it, but I don't even have a problem with it. It's okay. But these people have heavy spiritual protection, whether they know it or not. And half the time, more than likely, they don't know it. They can't see what's around them. They can't see the ancestors, the spirits, whatnot that are around them, that are like, when they start getting upset, that say, why don't you go relax? Why don't you go for a run? Why don't you go do that thing that you like? Why don't you take a nap? That helps them cope with their issues. They think it's themselves coming up with their ideas. They think it's themselves finding solutions, because when you're alone, you have no choice but to talk to your intuition. That little voice of God that says to you, something's wrong about that person. Something's wrong about this machine. I don't know, something, I gotta leave it alone. I think I better go take that thing to get checked. I don't know, maybe something's wrong with my arm. It's not feeling good. You think that this is all you. This is your ancestors waiting for 2 minutes of silence to talk to you, to provoke you. You're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and the minute you sit down, they get louder and louder and louder. They put these feelings that say, stop, stop, stop talking to that person, stop going there, stop engaging in this activity, stop buying from over there, whatever the case is. People who are by themselves are not by themselves. I talk about Men in Black, the movie, I don't know which one, where the little girl there's a dark alley and there's monsters hanging from the street lights. It's 2 a.m. and there's monsters hanging from the street lights, and there's monsters on the sidewalk, and there's all this scary stuff. And the new agents coming in, they say, kill what is more dangerous. And all the other agents are shooting at all the monsters. And Will Smith shoots at the little girl on the street, and they say they let everybody else go, and they go, why did you go for the little girl at the street? This girl's 5 years old. And he said, what is a 5-year-old little girl doing with university level textbooks on the street at 2 a.m.? Where are her parents? That is quiet people who are by themselves. What is a person who has such a beautiful spirit, who is so at peace with themselves, who has such a loving, attractive nature, doing by themselves every day, when they could very easily be around other people? They could very easily attract others. They could very easily stay amongst other people. Why are they on their own? And the short answer is because they're being protected, or they're on ice. Spirit has them on ice. Now, in my gang stalking, because they cannot get people close enough to gang stalk me, to actively gang stalk me, to deliver that abuse that they're desperate to give, they'll try to put things in ads. And they'll make up AI ads. They'll make it up in the hopes that I view one of them. And because I don't view them, they'll put things in titles that are supposed to disturb my peace. And one of them that they put up is why people have no family and friends, or weak familial bonds and no friendships. It's because the spirits around you want it that way. They want it that way to protect you from this abuse that they know is coming. They know that you're full of light, and they know that you're full of peace, and they know that you're full of this energy that people want to steal from you. They know that they have you on a mission and that you will be on a mission. And so what they do is they block all people who come close. Majority of these people come with bad intentions because it's the darkness on them that's attracted to you. But there are well-meaning people that come close, and they got to beat these people off because you're going to form a tether to these people. You're going to form an emotional bond. You're going to form an attachment from your heart to their heart that is going to be difficult to break unless they break it early. So then you need to come to terms with the fact that you're here to live a life where you're going to be alone. So you need to start learning how to be alone very early. So this is why they have you here in isolation. You must learn to cherish your isolation and come to terms with it. And most of us do. We come to terms with the fact that we are just not here to be around plenty of people. And we like it like that because they know, they're like, you know, all they have to let you do is just get close to one more person, and here this person's gonna come abusing you, and you're gonna get the picture. And eventually it's like, how much abuse do you want to go through before you get the picture that these people mean you no well or no good? And so that's why you're isolated and you're on your own, and it is okay, and it is preferably that way. So that when you get to the point that they are ready for you, you are mature, you're ready to pick off of the tree. We don't want you to get so ripe on the tree that you drop on the floor and the bugs start eating you. When you're ready to be carefully picked off of the tree, if you ever grew up in an environment where you can pick fruit, as soon as you touch ripe fruit, it just breaks off of the vine. When you're ready to be picked off of the tree, the spirits, they come and collect you, the spirits that have been around you. And they've been watching everybody circling around you. They've been watching the plots and the plans, and they've been taking notes. And so when people come for you, you are already ready. You've already met these people in dreams. You've already seen these people in visions. You've already experienced their energy before. You know their energy. You know what they are. They cannot love bomb you enough for you to not smell their odor. You walk into the restaurant and something's off here. There's someone here. I know that vibe. So when you meet them and you continue meeting them, they can talk to you on a fake account, from a fake profile. Hell, they could think about you and you hear the thoughts that they're thinking, and you're like, I know this energy. That is not by accident. That is by divine orchestration. Do not let anybody guilt you or gaslight you for being alone, because you don't come here as a normal person. You don't come here to do normal things. You are different, and that is okay. And you're allowed to believe in whatever you want to believe in, as long as you're not a danger to yourself and others. Because there are people that are dangerous to themselves and others, and they still haven't put these people in a loony bin yet. Do not be afraid. This is a sidebar. Do not be afraid of psychiatrists and psychologists. Just take it to God in prayer. It doesn't matter who it is. Lawyers, psychiatrists, social workers, whoever wants to be an obstacle in your way is simply a demonic entity trying to block your path. You put your ancestors are put here to unblock the path. The person is just a person. It's your ancestors that need to clear it. Now you need to think about it. In the spirit is where the clearing needs to happen. Because physically there's only one of you, which means in the physical doesn't even matter. It's the spirit that you're heavily protected. You have so many powerful energies, so many heavy hitters in the spirit that you don't need a lot of human beings. In reality, people walk up to you and they see one person, but in the spirit, it is an army that they do not see, and all the better for you. I don't worry about anybody saying, well, the things that you're saying. In the beginning, I was like, listen, if I tell people this stuff, I don't know if they've heard these things before. But now I don't worry about that, because I pity the fool who would want to still get involved at this point. With me personally, leave my ancestors alone. These energies, they begin to get, the more energy you give them, the more prayers you give them, the more attention you give them. You used to go from praying in the morning and praying in the night and praying in the midday and talking to them all day, and now you're just half in the spirit and half in the physical at all times. You're always there. It doesn't take, you don't have to go in. You're already there. You're already in. So you walk in spirit as much as you walk physically. This is the point that they wanted to get you to. So you guys hold hands all the time. There is no such thing as, well, I pray in the morning, I pray at night. I am in a constant state of engaging with spirit. We're always here. To the point where I'm walking and I'm thinking about something and I'm talking, and I told you, they hear every thought, they hear every prayer. So when you think you're talking to your spirits and they're talking back, in every way, shape, or form, they're talking back. You want to hear voices? I personally don't want to hear voices. That's a skill I do not want, personally. But you don't need to hear voices to know that they're there. They're talking back. You go to somewhere and you say, I want to do this and I want this and I want that, and then they do it for you and you're like, okay, thank you. And you go. So you don't need to go to them in prayer. They're there all the time. You recognize that. And so you're always there with them. You guys are always conversing. You're always planning something together. You're always figuring something out. They're guiding you. Should I go here or should I go there? No, go over here. Do that one. Pick up that one. No, put that one back. No, we'll do it later. Don't go today. Get up and leave the house. But I have plans. It's okay. Leave. You are in constant communication. You are constantly being guided, being pulled, being tugged, being sat down until it goes from a difficult thing to accomplish to just a daily sort of pattern. This is your state of being. This is how it goes in your world. This is all it is. Spirit will tell you when you're sick, spiritually, physically, when you think God is not just about the Holy Spirit, your spirits, your ancestors. They don't just care about like the things you care about. They care about everything. Take care of this. Go lose weight, exercise, clean up, do this, do that. It's like for a person who spends a lot of time alone, other people, they get this guidance from other human beings, say parents, say friends. Spirit gives you guidance that you would not take from a friend. You wouldn't have a friend tell you this kind of stuff. It's like spirit, I don't want to use the word micromanage because it's not accurate, but it's like that's the level to which they care, like a parent. When a parent is going to tell you every little thing. I was watching this thing online, and it was saying when you try to talk to your parents, how distracted they are. And it's true, because I'm like that. When my kids try to talk to me, I can't focus. So they first start and they're like, oh, let me tell you something. So I was on the driveway and you're like, wait, did you put out the garbage? And then they're talking and you're like, wait, did you do this? Wait, you better do that. Wait, go do this thing right now. Wait, go get this. You're going to forget. They can't get through the story because as a parent, you want the very best for them. And it's the same in the spirit. You'll say to spirit, well, I'm going to do this. And they'll tell you, no, go do it now. Do it now. Do a little bit of this. Do a little bit of that. There's constant communication. The pipes are constantly open. Now, when you're spiritually sick, bad luck is falling on you. You're clogging the pipes. You're dirtying the lines of communication. You're sullying it. It becomes harder for them to say to you, do this, do that. That is when you start needing tarot readers. You start needing psychics. You start needing other people. There are things that they need to communicate with you in very full paragraphs, long sentences, very specific information. So they'll send you somewhere that they give that person that information and then you'll get it. But daily communication is not needed. And when you learn to speak with spirit for yourself, you don't need anyone because the universe has its own language. The universe has its own language, and it's something that they will teach you on their own. They teach you to speak this language like you teach children to read. I am a parent twice over. I have taught 2 people to read. I know what I'm talking about. So it starts very slowly. You attach images to a word. So a dog to D-O-G. First, actually, let's take it back. You got to learn your letters. You got to learn the sound of the letters. Then you see, or they might even start with the picture and the word dog, and then you associated it. And then it's just visually, you know, when I see these 3 images, these 3 letters together, it means dog. And then they go from there. So you learn words, then you know phonetically how to sound them out. Then you learn phrases, then you can start putting things together, putting different words together, and then you get a complete sentence. And if you know how to read complete sentences, then you can read in paragraphs. And then the universe doesn't need to bring anybody for you to hear messages from. The communication is consistent. The universe has so many different languages that you don't just need one. Some people think, well, I'm psychic and I can hear voices in my head. Like I said, this is one I don't want, because if one spirit can talk to you, many spirits can talk to you. And if the wrong person talks to me, it's going to be problematic for me. I don't want to hear it. So there are many ways that spirit will communicate with you. There are many different angles that spirit is going to take when it comes to you, and you got to be open to that journey, and you got to be willing to go along that journey for yourself. You got to be willing to take one foot in front of the other foot, and you will take that journey whether or not you want to, because you're going to eventually come to this point where you're going to need this communication for your spiritual battles to get through them successfully. You're going to come to a point where they're going to know how this is going to go. So they may say, well, we know there's going to be a period of blocked communication, so we're going to give you all these lessons so that when you're on your own in this dark alley by yourself, yes, we will still be watching you and protecting you, but you're going to know how to handle this. So there's nothing to fear, but I think that there are markers of people who are targeted for gang stalking. There are markers of people who are meant to be spiritual warriors, and there are things that they go through, and it's like we share similarities. Once you wake up spiritually and you realize the world around you is spiritual, and there are these spiritual deviants, these entities, these demonic entities around you, once you get to this point, you're going to realize that you are now part of a constant battle that doesn't want to stop in your life. And this is why I say, do not worry about when gang stalking is going to stop or how it's going to stop. You need to learn to thrive in this environment. So today in my community section, I was talking about why learning lessons are very important, because it's the lessons that make it comfortable for you to live here. You do not get worried about spell work when you learn how to handle spell work. You just clean it off. You just take care of it. You just give problems to your spirit team and then you come back. I was on live yesterday, and me being on the live, literally they sent sickness to me while I was on the live. I kept sneezing, I kept getting, they sent it to my whole house, okay? You clean it off and you continue what it is that you have to do. And you move forward with the confidence that no matter what they send you, you can clean it off. You can block it, as a matter of fact. Had I been adequately protected, it wouldn't have even touched me, but I wasn't. Why? Because I just needed to do the live and I didn't do adequate things that I was supposed to do before I even came on. So that's my fault. However, I know that, and sometimes things like that are a reminder. Sometimes things like that give you an opportunity to experiment with different remedies, to get different things going. And so you never fear your journey. You put one foot in front of the other, just knowing that everything is going to be fine either way. I'll be all right. I'll figure it out. I'll get through it. The point is for me to learn it now, because where my spirit team is allowing these energies to block me from having progress in certain areas of my life that are dangerous for me to continue to go down. So I gotta be blocked. So I didn't meet particular people who ruined my life. In fact, they put me on the course that I was supposed to go. Never blame people for, well, you got me into this, or if I didn't meet you, or blah. No, you have to learn these lessons. This is your path. You met them strategically. That's why in the beginning, when you met them, it was so sweet. It was so nice. It was so enjoyable, because they wanted to use, the honey to suck you in far enough so that you can learn this lesson, so you can go on this journey. And there's nothing wrong with going on this journey. It is okay. It is where you're supposed to be. I talk about men in black all the time. This is what people who are going through gang stalking really are, and they don't know it. You're like the agents in Men in Black. Why? Watch the movie. Watch the first one. I don't know where you'd find it. Maybe somewhere online. When you watch Men in Black, these agents, they don't wake up and they say, I want to be an agent. It's like, if I can remember well, they fall into it, or they find them. And then they explain to them, why do you think you could do this? Why do you think you could do that? Why do you think all your life it was like this? Why do you think all your life it was like that? Welcome to the Men in Black. Let's go get trained up. That's like you. When it's your time, you get gang stalked. When it's your time, the storm comes and you learn to navigate the storm with a spirit team, not a human team, a spirit team. So you get stuck in the middle of this storm and no one's coming to help by design. This is your ascension. And what are you fighting? What you are meant to come here to fight. Maybe you come here every lifetime to do the exact same thing. Maybe you are the Men in Black, the cleanup crew. Let's talk about Men in Black. What happens? In Men in Black, they come find aliens that are breaking laws on Earth. These aliens hide everywhere. They hide in human bodies, especially. That's their favorite place to hide. They hide in animals. They hide in governments. They hide in celebrities. And they are doing things. They're taking advantage of people, and they keep doing things that they're not supposed to do, to put people in situations that people shouldn't be in, to take advantage of them. And what do the Men in Black do? They show up and they say, you shouldn't be in this business. This is illegal. And they take them back. They bring them in and they ship them off. This is essentially what you're doing in the spirit. And you may or may not know how you're doing it, but this is what you're doing. So essentially, it's kind of like the cleanup crew houses themselves in your vessel, and you are walked into situations with or without your knowledge where you're needed to clean situations up that shouldn't be there. This is not a situation where you're meant to ask, well, why me? or any of these kind of questions. You got to just come to terms with it as soon as possible, because you cannot be let out of this. This is not one of those things where you're like, well, if I bitch about it, if I pray, if I beg and plead God that I'm gonna get, no, this is not how it works. Everything that you're given, from your spiritual gifts to your talents to even wealth that you're blessed with, everything is in service of this contract, of this job. Some people are meant to go to Hollywood, so they're given a talent that brings them into Hollywood. Some people are meant to work with dignitaries, politicians, so they're given talents, skills, and abilities that makes them comfortable around all kinds of people. Because you know, politicians and business people, racism is only for you poor people. That's only for you. People that know how the world works, they work with entities, they work with demonic energies, they know about aliens, they know the secrets of the universe. They know that this is a skin suit, and we don't care what color it is. So when you get there, you get the very rich Africans with the heavy accents that come in their traditional clothing. And then you get the British people, and then you get these people, and they all hug each other like brothers and sisters together because you're the food. They know that this is a skin suit. This doesn't matter. The color of this doesn't matter. So maybe you get to be the kind of person who also doesn't care about race, who can speak to anyone, get along with anyone. So when you get to a place where nobody cares about race, where it is not important, your brain doesn't go to the training it had when it was in a box, and you don't say, well, oh, that black person, and oh, this, and oh, that. You don't care. You see human beings as energy. You don't see them as their big nose, their chinky eyes, their turban. That this doesn't matter. That there's a different agenda in this room. People think about power. People think about dominance and control. People think about 300 years in the future. They're not thinking about tomorrow. 20 years is like a snap of the finger. Nobody cares. When people look at leases of buildings and of land, these are 100-year contracts. These are not 20, 30-year contracts. These people in this room do not think small. They think about going to other planets. They think about pitching their flag in another planet. They're having races to get to space. So you are gifted in accordance to where you're needed. You're not gifted wealth to go buy stupid things. This is what poor people do. This is what people who are meant to only enjoy one lifetime do, things like this. You're given wealth so that you can be amongst the wealthy, because that is where you were needed. You're being groomed in a certain way because these are the skills that you need where you're going. So God doesn't care about, the universe doesn't care about if you're ghetto. You have to speak to ghetto people, so you must be ghetto yourself. You have to be relatable where you're going to. The universe is not worried about if you were in some type of weird lifestyle, because this is where you were needed to do your cleanup job. So you gotta be implanted there. And as an agent who shouldn't be detected, you have to be one of them. When in Rome, you gotta do what the Romans do. So you get over here and you like things that don't make sense. You don't feel a part of your family. Like, yes, you were born here. This is where you gotta hide out for the first 20 years. But you don't really relate to these people culturally. You don't relate to them spiritually. You don't relate to what they're talking about. You don't really believe what they believe. You don't even want to eat their food. Like, their food is not your food. But you were born here, and that is because you were not meant to stay there. And that is okay. And you have to follow your feelings. People who were meant to be taken down in this lifetime, they fear being taken down in this lifetime. They fear, there are people who have a fear of dying early, and they'll say, I just always thought I was going to die early. Like, we know instinctually, energetically, you could be in denial about it, but you kind of know, you know. So what you have to do here is to just accept the fact that your life has already been written and agreed to, whether it was you or not. It is what it is. And every lesson that you go through and everything that you go through is to prepare you for where you're going. And everything that you endure and you learn from and you conquer and you get over is needed for where you're going. So you're building upon old lessons like a curriculum. You need to learn this to be able to learn that, to be able to learn that, and you continue ascending and learning and you continue growing. And it's not just throughout your lifetime, but throughout an eternity. Because when you come back in another lifetime, you've already built upon the lessons of the past. So you don't need, some people who don't learn their lessons now, they do need to come back and learn these things again. But hopefully that's not you. Hopefully that's not going to be you. We have to deal with entities that are running amok. I myself am dealing with one, a few, that is running rampant, doesn't want to be dealt with. And we're getting this job done, and it has been a messy ordeal. It has been unsavory at best, and it has been downright disgusting to experience a lot of the time. But this is what I am meant to do. This is how I am meant to do it. And so I don't get to negotiate my way out of it, because it's like, you get picked for the job you get picked for. You are needed for where you are. And it is destined for you to get out of it. So you're wasting your time even worrying about, well, how am I going to do it? Who cares how? They already have it figured out. You just need to put one step in front of the other and do what you're guided to do. And even if you don't do what you're guided to do, you're gonna do it either way. I'm just telling you that. You're going to do it either way. You're gonna get there one way or the other. I hope it clicks. I hope certain things make sense in how you've lived your life, how you're going to live your life, and you just be patient with yourself and just relax. Relax during this process. It's like you're making it harder than it needs to be. Just calmly accept it. If there are men here on this live, you may or may not understand this analogy, but I'm a woman, so you know, women, we do not accept our bodily hair. We want to be hairless. And so you learn that if you shave your hair, it's going to grow back even stronger because you're shaving against the grain. So you eventually decide, well, you're going to get a wax. And what a wax does, it damages the hair follicle, the hair at the follicle where it grows. So it pulls the hair out at the follicle, at the source, at the root. And so you got to go through pain when you're being waxed. So the first couple wax, you're fighting against it, you're crying, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And eventually you learn that, well, the more I wax is the less I have to wax. So what used to be once every 2 weeks, let's say now turns into once every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks. By the time you've been waxing for years, you barely have to wax. Hair doesn't grow in certain parts of your body anymore. And you just start relaxing through the wax because you realize that it's for your greater good. What is the point of tensing yourself up? You relax and you know it's coming and you go through it because it's for the greater good. And this is how the spiritual ascension works. It is like a wax in the beginning. It is painful. And then you just get to the point where you're like, well, I'm going to need to wax either way. And so the pain decreases and what used to be an issue is not an issue anymore. Spell work that used to bother you doesn't bother you anymore. You're not sure if you're having spell work on you or because it's not having an effect. You just walk through this. Slowly but surely you start walking through things that used to have a very tough toll on you. So relax through the process and get yourself through it. One step at a time, you will eventually elevate through this. Now, I want to talk about something that I went through. I want to talk about what it feels like, because it is the most common form of spell work. This is called a love spell. And a love spell, they erroneously use the word love spell, but it's really domination spell. It's meant for control over you, and it's meant to manipulate you, to take advantage of you. And they understand that the feeling of love is a very potent feeling, and that'll make it easy for them to control you. So let's talk about love spells. I went through this once before and I recognized what happened. So I'm gonna just walk people through step by step what happened. I met someone online. This person was in a different country, and initially it was kind of just a passing thing. Didn't really care for this person at all, was not significant to me at all. And then one day, out of the blue, he asked me to send him a picture of me because I didn't have any pictures posted. And I sent him a couple pictures, and shortly after, it's like all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I really care about this person. I really like this person. And so I get ideas, and this person very quickly wants to move to the let's get married phase, because that's what they want to do. They want to lock you into something permanently very quickly once the love spell hits, because they understand how this energy is very funny. They want to get married right away because they attach themselves to you like that. They're going to make the divorce very messy. It's in the divorce that they're going to take from you. So when you see these quickie Hollywood marriages where people get married in Hollywood, we met in 11 days and we got married, and they're in a marriage where you can see that it's like a push and pull energy. Like, is there really love there? What is this? And the person under the love spell can kind of feel energetically that they don't really love this person, but there's this like feeling that comes back. When they do the love spell, they have to keep doing the love spell. Keep putting your picture on the altar. Keep taking your picture to practitioners. They have to keep topping it up, because by itself, you're going to wake up one day and be like, this person's ugly. Physically. Even if they're attractive, you're like, what is this? This is disgusting. So they keep, half the time people that use love spells they have to use love spells. They don't have a personality. They are not in connection to their emotions. Let me tell you something. A love spell can be recreated through sexual energy. So there are people who will sleep with a person, and they sleep with people so well that this person will think that they're in love with this person, but it's just lust. You can do it that way, where it's like you're so good in bed that you get this person under control, let's say. But you also have to have other things with it, because you have to nurture it. You have to maintain it. On top of being good in bed, you got to have charisma. You got to be charming. You got to have personality. You have to give this person attention. This is a job. And you're doing a job on someone that you do not naturally like or are attracted to. This person presents some value, and they may or may not be attractive to you. So you got to do the job. It's like how women have sugar daddies, but the guy's old. He might smell old. He might have bad breath. He might have body odor. He might whatever, but it's like, it's a job. You got to sit on the phone with them. You got to show up. You got to do all of this stuff so that when you ask them for money, they're so in love. They're so happy, whatever. But it's like when they're looking at you lovingly, do you have love for this person? No, you're using this person. It's like a job. It's the same way that they do this to you. Now, they may not want to sleep with this person because this person's old, or this person is older. So maybe they might sleep with them once or twice, but they don't want to continue this. It's the same thing. When they put a love spell on you, especially if it's a man putting a love spell on another man, They have to energetically sleep with you. They have to masturbate to you. It works better when the man is gay so that he can actually enjoy this experience. Because, you know, how can a straight man be doing sex magic on another man? He's not going to want to do it. That's why half of these secret societies, most of them, it's gay men. Gay men having sex cloaked in female energy, sleeping with men in their dreams, making men very lustful, attaching energies to men. When they attach the energy, the man's very lustful. The man is more open to opening up himself energetically. He will not block that energy that comes. He won't fight it off. So however they do this magic on you, they can constantly see that it's breaking. They can constantly see that you're not interested, that it's not working. I can give so many examples of Hollywood marriages that I can tell you right off the bat, they use sex magic or love magic on these people. Britney Spears' most recent marriage, guaranteed. It's always a personal trainer, somebody in amazing shape, a man whose job it is just to look good, to groom himself, and they get them with sex. They look good, whatever. It's a quickie marriage, and the divorce is where they take what they want. A quickie divorce, I'm not going to make this messy, just pay me off this much money, and they go, and they leave you a shell of yourself and broken. All they've done is target this girl for marriages. And all these people do, it's like they just take care of people. They just take care of people. Now, there's some people that you don't need to do this to. It's a transaction. Like, there's some older men, even older women. They're like, listen, I'm older. I want to sleep with people who are younger than me. I know what it is. What is your cost? What is the price? And they just make it a transaction, and they don't really want, like, they're like, listen, you don't have to talk to me on the phone and do this nonsense. I'll just give you what I'll give you. I'll take care of you and just like have a good day. They don't want the emotional messiness of this situation. And they show you that up front. Like, what do you need? Okay, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. And they want to psychologically put you in the pattern of, I'll just take care of it. Because these people probably have seen what it's like to be in these situations, or they know what's going on in their life. I'm talking about people that want to make it emotionally messy. They want to bind you because they want to take more than you're willing to give. They want to take a piece of you with them. You're in this sort of, under this sort of love spell, and it's not genuine. You guys don't have much in common. They start getting lazy. They don't want to put in the appropriate time. They're just relying too heavily on the love spell itself. They're just like, whatever, man, I'll just cook up some more. And they like to keep you in a chaser energy where you're the one, like, how comes they didn't call me today? How comes they didn't text me today? How comes they don't blah, blah, blah? And so if you end up in this position and you haven't groomed yourself emotionally yet, or you haven't learned self-respect, you're going to be chasing. You're going to be like sitting there all day, like, how come such and such doesn't call me, and how comes they don't love me back, and whatever. And so this person breadcrumbs you. They give you one call and they look down on you. They want to be in a position to look down on you, like, oh, look at this person fiending after me. So they sense it when you're energetically moving forward. They sense it because they've tethered themselves. They've connected themselves. They put a cord on you. So they sense when you're happy, and that's the moment that they're calling. They're sensing when other men are lusting after you. They're sensing when things are different, and so they start watching, they start observing, they're losing their control. And anyway, so I was under this thing. Was it that strong? I don't know. I'll say it was medium. It wasn't that strong because I recognized that I was under it. But I wasn't spiritual at the time. I was just learning to meditate and to connect with spirit. And I was supposed to meet this person, and when I met, it's like my spirit told me not to go on the trip. I went anyway. It went horribly. They took from me, and when I got back, I was very drained for a couple of days. I had no energy, so they took a bunch of my energy, and it took literally my life force from me. And then I came back and I had to wean myself off of that situation. When you wake up fully, you're disgusted of them and you're like, I don't know what I was going through. This is disgusting. You tend to hate them when you wake up for no reason whatsoever, but you hate this person. They're disgusting and there's no negotiation with them. Like, you're done and you're done. So I wake up from this, and then you start calling your energy back. So you start getting stronger, you heal, you call your energy back, you get stronger, and you get what they took from you energetically, you get it back. And that's where everything they built on your energy falls apart, and then some. So whatever they built on your energy, it's taken back, plus what they had there already as karma, they lose. They're losing relationships, they're losing businesses, they're losing all kinds of things. And that is when they go into their panic mode. They want you to come back to them, and they will do anything that they can to get you back. They will beg, they will cry, they will plead, not because they really want you, but because their life is falling apart. This is what's happening to people in love spells with karmic people, karmic men, karmic women, karmic organizations. When you pull your energy back, they're losing everything that they built off of your energy. And because they're losing everything that they built off of your energy, they're very desperate. The people who used to look down on you, who didn't have respect for you, are now on hands and knees like dogs, begging, ready to lick under your feet to get you back close enough that they could try to rebind you. The thing about breaking a love spell is you break it once and you cannot put it back. It doesn't matter. Once you see the witch, you cannot unsee the witch. Your ancestors made it this way for a reason. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them. So this rebinding is never going to work anyway. So they'll do all kinds of things. They send you nudes. They want to send you gifts. They want to feed you. They try every witchcraft on you. They want to do sex magic on you, make you think about them, but it's dirty energy. You're no longer attracted to this anyway. So you got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of it by all means necessary. And you suspect that they were doing something to you. You did. But it's like the no mud, no lotus card. You had to experience this filthy energy to know what it's like. So when I met this energy and when I went through the love spell, and I went through that love spell to learn what it was like to be under a love spell. These people usually always have STDs, by the way. They usually always have some sort of sickness, either of the mind, of the body, a STD, a terminal something, because using sex magic in that kind of way is forbidden. Even if they're clean sexually, it doesn't matter. They always have something. And I'm saying this because in this situation that I'm going through right now, as far as like the gang stalking, everybody that they keep talking about has STDs. Even in my city, it's like an STD epidemic. And that doesn't mean that you're going to get the STD because, like I said, they do not need to physically sleep with you. Like I said, when I went through this, somebody was in a different country. There wasn't even any physical contact or having physically met. So they do this without physical contact, but it's like there's always something wrong with them. In that case, this person wasn't mentally well, and I could see it later. In this gang stalking phase, that person, this one in this gang stalking phase is not well in any way, shape, or form, because these entities always make them not mentally okay, not physically okay. Sexual health it's like there's always something going on with these energies. So this is a good indicator when people are just not okay. So that's a good don't sleep with people who do sex magic, please. They are not in good health. They're not okay. Even if it's just mentally, they're visibly not mentally okay. If you step back long enough to take a look at them, they're visibly mentally not okay. And if you really step back and you slow down, you're like, wait, but I saw that whole time. Why did I ignore that? Because of the work that they do on you. So Look at your situations and the people that you're connected with and ask yourself, do you actually like these people? Are these people actually likable? Do they actually have a winning personality? Do you guys have anything in common? Is there anything where you can be like, you fill my cup in any way? Like, we share love languages? No, no. These are fucking weird people with no personality, no connection to their heart, no means to emotionally connect, no ways to express emotions other than to be emotionally manipulative. These are demonic entities. Demonic entities do not know how to energetically connect with people. So beware, and beware of love spells. Love spells are actually domination spells, and they're just there to emotionally control you. And awareness is how you break a lot of this energy off of you. So let me get to the last part of what I had to talk about, which is how I call it how to build your wise counsel. How do you build wise counsel for yourself? When I go into the spirit and I talk to my ancestors and my spirit guides, I call them wise counsel. Why? Because they are. These are my guides that I consult for everything. They guide everything that I do. This is where you get everything that you need. Everybody has their own wise counsel, and you're not supposed to be depending on human beings to be your wise counsel. So I'm gonna post this chart in my community section as well. It's very simple. This happens in 2 phases. Phase 1 is where you go into prayer and you connect with your ancestors. You connect at first with your ancestors through prayer, and then your ancestors are the bridge who bring the appropriate energies that you're supposed to be working with and carrying. These energies that are, by the way, already there, so they're not bringing anything. They're just working as the conduit, as the connecting piece between you and your spirit guides, your energies that you're supposed to be working with. You connect to your ancestors through an ancestral altar, and you perform ancestral worship. This is an altar that you build where you give energy, worship, food, you give libations, you pour drinks to your ancestors daily. You start daily, twice a day, just like you do with prayer and meditation, and it becomes your habit. Before every drink, you naturally pour some out to the ancestors. And every day you feed them lots of energy, get them very strong in your life. You do not need an altar at the church, because I started off by saying that people do not need to institutionalize spirituality, because every spiritual journey is individual. My spirit guides are going to be very different from your spirit guides, and so on and so forth. You don't get to pick the ancestors that are going to connect to you. You're just naturally going to be placed in their care, perhaps from a child. Everybody that you need spiritually is already here. You're not calling anything new in. It's already here. You're just now connecting with it. You're just ready to put your antennas up. You're ready to channel them. You're ready for them to come on your vessel. So this is the process. You start with the ancestral altar. You build the altar. After the prayers, they teach you how to connect with them. Then they connect to the energies. And the real purpose of the ancestors is really to make you feel comfortable with these energies, because what the depiction in the spirit, it's like aliens. How it looks in the spirit, we're used to human bodies. We want everything to have one head, one mouth, one nose, 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 feet. And that is not what energies look like in the spirit. So perhaps if you were to see your spiritual self, you might be concerned, like, am I actually a person? Why do I look like that in the spirit? Why do I behave like that in the spirit? you haven't even seen yourself spiritually. So if you see your higher self, if you see your spirit guides, you might be scared of them. You might say, oh my God, like, why don't they look like human beings? Like, they look scary to me. Your ancestors are there to bring you because you have trust in them and you know them. They are a familiar spirit that you remember in this lifetime. That's why people pass over before you, so that they could come back to you. You never lose anybody. They remain part of the soul tribe. When people pass away, we do all this crying. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss them. I want them back. But they just hover around you forever. They follow you everywhere you go. They're with you. They're always there. You don't lose anyone. So they pass away, and then you call to them in times of trouble. You talk to them because this cord that you have to them is too strong that you don't want to cut it, and you don't cut it. So they pass away and you still talk to them, you still cry for them, you still remember them. That's why we pour libations. We say, this one is for you, this is a little for you. I'm celebrating, have some of my champagne, and you pour it out. You went and got that big win, that thing that you worked hard for, that you thought you worked by yourself for, but they worked with you. And when you're breaking ground on the new land that you're going to build, or you finally get the new thing that you wanted and you get the champagne, you pour a little for them and you say, this is for you. We did it. Thank you. Maybe you were praying to them, you were talking to them like throughout the way, and you got it and you say, this is for you. They receive that champagne that you poured on the ground. They receive it. Now they're having a little of that champagne too. And some of us have been doing things like this and we don't even know why we do it. So they receive some of that. So your ancestors are working with you, and when it comes that time for your spirits to come, your real spirit guides, they make the connection because you already trust them. You already believe in them and what they're doing in your life. So this happens. And so when you connect to them, now this is the part that I want to talk about. Where I have in the top, there is a spirit of a picture of a skeleton lady, and it says feminine, and there is a picture of a sun and it says masculine. This is the universe. The masculine and feminine energy. It's the power of creation. So the masculine appears as a sun, the sun god, and the feminine has moon energy, the sun and the moon. The feminine energy, that moon energy, that is the energy of psychic abilities, intuition. It's a spirit realm energy. And the sun is, I don't want to say more earthly, but definitely has more of an earthly quality to it. And I'm going to go into that stuff more on another live at another time, but women will connect to their feminine energy and men will connect to their masculine energy, and we connect to both eventually. Eventually, this is the father and the mother energy, and you are the Christ. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Or the Father, the Daughter, and the Holy Ghost. And the Holy Ghost is the mother energy who can go anywhere. The Holy Ghost is a combination of light and dark. The Holy Ghost is an energy that will go where the sun energy does not go. The sun energy doesn't go in darkness. The sun energy doesn't move around in the underworld. The Holy Ghost can. She moves around in places that are very dirty. She can be in those places because she's the energy of the moon. And the energy of the sun illuminates, it brightens. The energy of the sun does what it does from its position. You rise up to meet that masculine energy, but the feminine energy can flow. It's fluid. It goes everywhere. So in the beginning, on your altar, you venerate your ancestors. They connect you. And then you, and there may be a layer between, for a lot of people, there is a layer between ancestors and that feminine masculine energy of the universe, where it's your actual spirit guides are in between there. You don't have a direct connection to them, but you don't need to. The people get lost in the semantics of this. It doesn't matter. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen either way. And these are very tough energies either way to like connect to work with. You don't want positions that are not for you. It's a very heavy like load to carry. It's very difficult either way. You want to be at the level you're supposed to be at, the level that you are equipped to be at. Once you're done connecting with your ancestors appropriately, all the cords are properly connected, you've learned the lessons that you should, phase 2 comes where you put your spirit guides on your altar. Now, people have different energies on their altar, not necessarily the universe, not necessarily the highest entities, but they may have another energy. They may have a divine feminine, they may have another god, they may have Ganesh, whatever it is that they have. They may have multiple of them. Whatever it is that they connect to, it doesn't matter. It all does the job that it's supposed to do. Because you're not supposed to be begging for positions that are not for you. You're not supposed to be going in places you're not supposed to go. Excuse me, you will not make it out. It's not for you. There are a lot of people that like to beg for things that is not for them. It will destroy your life if you get things that are not for you. That's why you don't steal. You don't have the adequate ranking, the adequate protection. You don't have the adequate anything. So you gotta stay in your lane. You're gonna learn one way or the other way, because the spirit realm is not a place for experimentation, and it's not a place to be wandering all alone. It's not a place to use logic, manipulation. It's not a place to even, it's not safe to be, period. Like I said, all they do over there is fight. And when you've been fighting long enough, you get very tactical. Fools rush in. You force things without patience. You do a lot of stupidity. And these energies don't fight you when you're making mistakes. They let you do it. And they let you defeat yourself. They don't even wait for your effort to put in any energy. They don't put in any energy against you. They let you defeat yourself. They dust their hands and they turn their back. They don't even care. They just let you do what you want to do. Because upatan, you don't listen. So who cares? And they make a mockery of you. Please don't do that. Please don't do that, while they know you're going to do it anyway. Just so they get to say that we told you not to do it. But they know you are going to do it anyway. They know how you are. They dangled it in front of your face anyway because they know how you are. They know you have no self-control. And they put you in that position. Nothing is by accident because they know you couldn't help yourself. And the whole time it's like you're the butt of the joke. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Uh-oh, he did it. And it's like those people where somebody was gonna stop you and tell you, and they just tap them like, shh, shh, shh. Don't do it. You're gonna get hurt. And then you get hurt, and they're like, "Aw," and they grab their ancestors, their children's hand, and they walk away. Nobody fought you. You fought yourself. You defeated yourself. You argued with yourself. You sliced yourself. You took your sword. You put it in the ground, and you jumped right over it. Because they know you don't listen. So it's almost like you got used for what you're good at doing, and then when you were done being good at doing it, they're like, well, thank you for training my son or daughter in spiritual warfare. We appreciate it, and have yourself a great day. And then they just move forward in their life like it never happened, because it was just training. The only person who suffered anything here is the person who taught you how a love spell works. They're the ones who lost everything. It's the dog with the bone. They lost the bone and the reflection went away. It's the person who gang stalked you. It's the person who spiritually attacked you. Those are the people who suffer. But you yourself, you fly away. You're out of there. So The second phase is where you go into prayer. You build your home altar, because you do not need to go to the altar in the church or in the synagogue or wherever. You can bring your altar at home. You go to your altar, and now you combine these energies, your ancestors and your spirit guides, or whoever your gods are all on one altar. And from there, you cultivate this energy. From there, you work with them. From there, you develop your skills, you develop yourself, and you morph into the person that you were always supposed to be. You become the best version of yourself, and now you get ready to live your life's purpose. And if your purpose is to be something like an energetic Men in Black sort of agent, but in the spirit, then they take the lead from there. They know where to lead you, and where they lead you is not permanent. You do not align yourself permanently with spiritual teachers and spiritual leaders. They are teaching at the level that you are supposed to be. It's like a grade school teacher. There's a grade 1 teacher, and there's a grade 12 teacher, and there's a grade 5 teacher. And when you're done at grade 1, you graduate, you go to grade 2. Sometimes they may bring you back because this teacher may have one more message for you, and then you go. You don't stay with the same one the entire way. I give people information. I do not like calling myself a teacher, because I don't want the ego that comes with it, the ego association of saying I am a teacher. I do not want you to, you're only aligning with what I say at the level that you're at. And then you need to fly away to somebody who has more advanced information or different information for where you're going. You do not put me on a pedestal, because I will fail you, because I am also held hostage in the skin suit. It means that I am also under spiritual attack. Whatever I tell you, you need to take it with a grain of salt. You do not put me on an altar. I am not your God. And whatever I told you, you could find it out yourself. If you really wanted to find it out, you can go in the spirit and ask the same question. My message will be here. I'm telling you verbatim. Or you can experience it. You can have a dream. You can see it somewhere. Somebody else can tell you. The message is going to be reconfirmed in multiple different ways. Blah, 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 blah. People are vessels for knowledge. Teachers are not gods. They are just here for a message. And it is a huge red flag when people their egos are too big. Because no matter who you are, God will block your sight. God will block your spiritual sight to teach you a lesson when God is ready. And God has taught a lot of psychics lessons for not listening. Messages can come from anyone. The universe can make anyone a teacher, be it a child, be it an animal, be it a pet, whatever it is. Anybody can teach you a lesson. So let us please not have ego in this. I may have messages that I give, but I like to call myself a doer, sorry. I am on active duty, okay? I always talk about it like this. It's like I'm a soldier that's in a classroom or telling you how to do things, but I am always on active duty. I don't consider myself a spiritual leader, so I don't have the appropriate ego for that. I hope everything that I've said today has helped someone in some way, shape, or form. If you've been being kicked out of the live, you might have to watch the video again to watch the entire thing through. If there's anyone who needs downloads of the videos or whatever, I don't know, let me know. I don't know how to say it, because I can see that they kick people out of my lives. They will kick 8 people out all at once, and I don't know how they do it, but if you need, anything, just let me know. Anyway, I pulled a card. The crystal of the day is Azurite. This is what it looks like. It's a blue crystal. All the psychic crystals are blue. Just like I think it's the crown chakra. No, it's the third eye chakra that is blue. So all these crystals are blue. This is a third eye activator. Obviously, it's very high. Azurite accelerates psychic development, raising consciousness to the highest level and deepening meditative states. Every psychic crystal will deepen your meditative state. It enhances intuition, precognition, retrocognition, and clairvoyance. Precognition tells you the future. It's the ability to predict the future. Retrocognition is the ability to remember the past. And clairvoyance, I gotta look it up. Let's look it up together because I don't want to get it wrong. I have an idea of what it is, but we're gonna look it up together because I like to Google everything. Google is your friend. They gave us Google for a reason. Use Google. So clairvoyance is the supposed faculty, the dictionary, the supposed faculty. Clairvoyance is the faculty of perceiving things or events in the future or beyond normal sensory contact. She stared at the card as if she could contact its writer by clairvoyance. So, I don't know, that doesn't help me very much. Clairvoyance is the claimed ability to acquire information that would be considered impossible to get through scientifically proven sensations, thus classified as extrasensory perception or a sixth sense. Any person is claimed to have such an ability is said to be clairvoyant. So there's so many kind of ways of being clairvoyant. That's the reason that I kind of didn't want to give a definition, but let's call it a sixth sense. Challenging your view of reality, Azurite facilitates safe out-of-body journeys or astral projecting, releasing limited belief systems so that you can move through the unknown without fear. Releasing limiting belief systems so that you can move through the unknown without fear. If you want to explore witchcraft, if you want to explore the spirit realms, if you want to learn new things, you have to not doubt them. And this is what this kind of stone will help you with, is releasing these feelings of too much reality, too much 3D. Azurite clears emotional debris and ancient fears, cleanses the emotional body, and creates inner peace. Ancient fears can be like coming back here and being afraid of certain animals, being afraid of water, being afraid to swim. Something happened to you in a past lifetime. And so this will help clear those things off. This is called emotional debris. The stone facilitates deep, multi-dimensional, intercellular reprogramming. Just let the stone do its job. Sometimes you need to understand it, sometimes you don't. On the body, it assists with the brain, the throat, the joints, the spine, the kidneys, the gallbladder, spleen, liver, thyroid, bones, teeth, skin, and embryonic development. So pregnant women should get this stone. And in the mind, it soothes stress, overcomes worries and sadness, and provides new perspectives. I think the stone makes a good case for itself. Azurite, and I recommend sleeping with crystals to assist you as you involuntarily travel astrally, because we are all traveling astrally, whether you remember or not, whether you know or not. And if you do want to know, I suggest definitely asking your spirit guides to make you aware of what you're doing astrally in the astral realms. I suggest asking your spirit guides to show you what you look like astrally. I suggest asking them everything. What do they want on the altar? What do they like? They'll let you know. They'll tell you. They'll give you energies. They will show you the way. They're meant to lead the way. So this card's pulling to me. If your mindset is fixed, try to free yourself from that and rise above it. Don't place limitations on what you think you can achieve. Don't stand in your own way. Allow yourself to flourish in all ways. Welcome abundance in all forms into your life. Not just energetic, not just financial abundance, not just abundance with family, abundance in all ways. Welcome abundance in all ways. fixed mindset, psychic abilities, and removing blocks of what you think. No mud, no lotus. White are the flowers of apple tree that brings us fruits of fertility. Make investments that are pure to have, what would I call it? Blossoming fruit that you like. Stop working with dark energies. 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. God the Father is the sun, time. God the Mother is knowledge, infinite knowledge, genius energy, illumination, or truth, or sorry, the moon. And they work with you to be the truth. That's the point of us all being here, is to be the manifestation of the truth of the universe, of the truth of God, of the truth of life, what is actually happening here, not what they tell you is happening. So anyway, that was my message for today. Very interesting, and all the messages build upon each other. I'm gonna put the card of the day, the crystal of the day, and the graph that I have put together. I'm gonna put it all up, and please go through the videos. Some of the videos warrant a second listen because sometimes everything doesn't connect the first time you listen to it. So just trust what you hear and use your discernment. Not everything is for everyone, and that is okay. Maybe messages are for very specific people, and that's all right as well. Thank you for tuning in and hanging in there with me, and just remember that God loves you. Have a great day.